Family, what's popping, man? We in the building. I got my boy Cody Carpentier here, man, from a long-awaited holiday break, man. I'm sure he had some good glazed turkey, fried turkey, however you cook it up, brother. So, glad my boy is here. We glad y'all here. We in the kitchen, and you know what we about to do, baby. We about to cook up. So appreciate y'all tapping with us. Let's get it.
Hey, they wrote me off, I ain't write them back. Nah. Follow me, but don't double tap. I ain't liking that. You subscribe, I monetize. Now who's striking that? Wanna see the contract? Who got the rights to that? This my story. I spent my whole life on that. Time's up. Shador Sanders with the rollie in the armor. I could do this shit with my eyes closed. The main attraction don't come at me with no side show. I'm selling high, they wanna buy low.
That's it, baby. We here, man. How we feeling this morning, Cody?
We here, baby.
That's it.
We cooking.
It. Yeah,
stirring the pot.
You know how we get down. Hey, look, the James Harden style. Are we eating like Zeke or we stirring like James Harden? Which one we doing?
I'm stirring up and then we eating.
Okay, there we go. I like that, baby. I like that. How was your holiday, brother? I know you went here last week, man. You went out of town, made some moves. How was it?
It was good. I was out of town driving across the country. I drove from Minnesota to South Carolina, so I had to get some highway miles in. Had to get some. I think I ended up with like 1,200 highway miles last week, but made it back. We cooked up. We didn't cook up some turkey this year. We cooked up some lamb chops.
That's what I like. I like to see.
Cooked them all day on the Weber. It was fantastic. But had all my sides. Family was in town.
Yeah.
Good week. Now it's December, baby.
That's it. It's our month, right?
It's our month.
That's it, man. How do we know that we both ended up being a day apart on the birthday scale? So we found that out live on the show. So that makes it even more crazy, right? But it's our month, man. So nobody else matters this month. But yeah, man, we had a good time last week, man. I actually did a solo show last week. I think the people were probably at work. I thought it was gonna be off because I ain't get a lot of chats, man. I was like, I'm trying to kick it with the people, man. So I said, all right, it's cool. I'm gonna give y'all a little more info. But I'm glad I got my boy back. We back on schedule. Like Pop said, man, we back on track. So yeah, you know, Thanksgiving was cool, man. I had a good time. We had a crazy slate of games that day between the lack of timeout calling and a coach being fired after that game. The Cowboys winning games for no reason, and the Dolphins can't play in the cold, pretty much, which we already knew. So we gonna get into all that, man. But shout out to the people that's here, man. We got Christian in the building. What up, Christian? Man, how you feeling, man? Pop's in the building. Gona boy, what up? You say what up, Cody? My boy Shizzle's in the building, man. Yeah, man. I'm gonna let y'all trickle in, man, as y'all go. But yeah, man, let's just get it started, bro. On that Thanksgiving day, man, the Bears versus the Lions. This actually was a very winnable game for the Bears, man. The rebirth of, maybe the Bears saying, hey, you know what? We might be the worst team in this division, but we going against the best team probably in the NFC, and we going to win. They started off rough. It was ugly. The heat got turned up quick later on in the evening, and they just blew it, man. On the last drive, couple of seconds left, Caleb calling the audible. The coach just sitting there watching. He got his popcorn, and next thing you know, man, the clock has ran out. So even if they went to overtime, there's no guarantee would have won that game. But to fight back and to have a toe-to-toe with the best team in the NFC, that would have put a lot of spark in the locker room and in the coach's mind. So to see them lose the way they lost, it was a joke. But what's your thoughts on that game and how everything went, man? And, the debacle that ended up being?
I've grown to obviously be a fan of Dan Campbell and the whole thing that is Detroit and the Lions and where they're going. I'm obviously a Viking fan, but like I love everything about how they're building this with Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, et cetera, all the way down to the building the defense and this everything. But I found myself on Thanksgiving cheering for Chicago in that second half. They were down 60 at halftime, and I'm like, man, touchdown Keenan Allen. They bring it on down, touchdown DJ Moore. I was like, man, they got a shot here. They got a little bit of a shot here. And then they get down there. I don't know what they were on, that the close to midfield, somewhere on there. And they just beat down their leg. And I was like, like, and my favorite, I guess, was they pan over to Eberflus, and he's just like, and it's just like flat face, like, is he not registering what just happened? Did he not register the situation that they were in? I mean, this is part of, one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard is, winners find ways to win, losers find ways to lose.
Facts.
They're not accustomed to winning. The Lions are accustomed to winning. Now, they're just now getting over knowing how to lose for the last 2 decades, and they're finding out how to win. But the Bears are stuck in the finding ways, losers find ways to lose. It's the Bears are losers right now. Yeah. And they're just not used to those situations. And, I could just name off the quarterbacks. You could go through all the top end quarterbacks, the Pats, the Toms, the Paytons, all these guys that would, in that situation, exactly, you can visualize it because you've seen it 24 times, exactly how that situation looks. I think that that's something Caleb will get through. I think that, without Eberflus, they're going to have to obviously get another head coach. This guy's a complete donkey, but I think everything seems close in Chicago. I don't want to say it's right. I think it's close.
Yeah. It's like, it's almost like they just missing the screw and they got to go to the store and go buy one, put it in there, tighten it up, and maybe they can stop the bleeding. But right now, until they get that last bolt, nut, screw that they need to put in, they just going to continue just rolling on. You know what I'm saying? That's what it felt like to me. They're just missing that one screw, that one piece, that last piece of the puzzle that didn't come in the box when they mailed it. You know what I'm saying? They got to call the manufacturer back and say, hey, man, you missed the main piece. So that's what I think they're missing, bro. Just that one piece.
And it's like it's not just your standard flathead. It's a star bolt. It's it's one of these. It's a massive Allen wrench. You're like, well, I got Allen wrenches. I got 36 Allen wrenches right here on this thing, but they don't all fit this one, and I need to get this one, this big one right here, and that's where it seems like they're just one piece. I like that. I like where the defense is at. Obviously, you love all the offensive talent. They need some offensive linemen and stuff. But this team, I love what the second showed. I love that they didn't just roll up and we've seen it against Detroit this year. We've seen these teams roll up and just get whopped.
Detroit, beating teams by 40-some points, and they didn't lay down, man. And to look at the, stat, Caleb 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Keenan Allen 2 touchdowns, 73 yards. And I don't know if you saw that move. You saw that move that he made? Yeah, they pulled his helmet off. Right? Do you see that move that route he ran at the to score that second touchdown, bro? That was a smooth move, bro. So I thought he was actually done, man. That ankle injury looked kind of bad for an older guy, but he came back in the game. He was limping through the rest of that game, but he came back. So yeah, man. I mean, I'm glad to see some fight in the Bears, but again, man, we preach this every week, bro. Coaching. When your leader is lost, you're a lost team. And like you say, he's on the sideline looking lost. He didn't even know he was at the game in a sense. So, and even in his press conference, he said, I think we did the right thing. That lets you know right there that this, that was the answer that we all needed. Like, okay, bye. You know what I'm saying? So, but shout out to the Bears, man, for hopefully stopping the bleeding, fixing what need to be fixed, cleaning out upstairs, and hopefully bringing in some people. Hey, maybe the Ben Johnson might want to go there and compete against his Lions that he helped build and make succeed. So that wouldn't be a bad look for Caleb, man. So on to the Cowboys and the Giants. We ain't gonna talk long, but I will say I do believe that this team was just missing a heartbeat, and I believe Micah Parsons is that heartbeat. I know people say that he always fumbled the ball in the playoffs and late in games, but right now, especially watching what he said when he was eating that turkey leg and needed some sauce, he basically said people counted us out, but we here. And I honestly believe when he said that, he really means whether we win or lose, we're going to try to compete every single week. And I just think that's what they was missing on this team, man. And unfortunately, we're not going to lose games on purpose like I wanted it to. But if you can win and play with some heart, like it's saying Micah Parsons want to do, I'm okay with that too, man. So the number 12 pick over the number 3 pick is okay with me if you playing with some heart. And I think that's what Micah about to bring to this team for the rest of the season. So, Well, you got any speaks on this whack game that we saw?
I mean, it's a
What up, Gator?
they're I don't know what it looks like, but I know what the schedule looks like, and it's 5 winnable games, including one at Philadelphia that I'm just going to call winnable because it's a divisional game.
And you talking about this? Cowboys? You talking about, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm talking about your Cowboys. And
I mean, and Cooper Rush ain't. I mean, he's a serviceable quarterback. You know, he's not.
He's not the worst backup in the. He's not the worst backup in the world. Like,
he's serviceable.
Exactly. He can. I don't know if he can quite. I'm not sure there's quite enough talent around him to potentially pull out some like Case Keenum type stuff out of his hat. I'm not sure if that's on the table, but close. I think respectable enough. He could do something. I don't know. I don't really know what to think of the Cowboys. I think it's smart to instill the culture of not quitting, like we just talked about with the Bears a minute ago. But obviously, none of this is going to be to the Cowboy standard. The only thing that could make this season hitting or even computing in the Cowboy standard would be winning out and potentially making that last wild card spot at 10-7. That's the only thing that would compute for Cowboys fans to be like, successful season. Dak gets hurt. Cooper Rush takes us to the playoffs at 10-7. But
go ahead. I was going to say real fans don't want that though. But
real fans shouldn't want that. Yeah, that exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, for us to win out right now, bro, it would be a disaster for the
Band-Aid.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want a Band-Aid. Now, when I say compete, I don't mean I want us to win, but I still want us to look like we give a damn about coming up to work. If I'm a fan, no matter if I want you to win or lose, when I pay that ticket, I want to see a good game. You know what I'm saying? So the scoreboard, I want us to say L at the end, but I do want to see some fight. And, just to say, hey, we might not be winning this year, but next year we're going to refocus. And I still believe that Mike McCarthy and everybody else around that staff needs to be gone. And the only way for that to happen is to lose games. So I'm okay with losing. I just want to see a little bit of fight. And I think Micah Parsons coming back is what this team needed to just wake up and say, look, man, this ain't over with yet. Even though the fans like me wanted to be over, I don't mind seeing my guys go to war and say, look, we're going to fight no matter what. So I'm cool with that. And it was always lose that, Pops. Don't get my words twisted. I want us to lose. We working on it.
Yeah, that's a tough part. And I will say, like, my Vikings forever was in this like picking 17th overall situation. I can't even remember how many times growing up it was like, yeah, what are we gonna pick? 16th, 17th, 18th. I can't even remember how many times they did that. It's the worst place to be in the draft because they always say, there's between 15 and 20 true first round picks. So you're on the back end of that, potentially on the outskirts of that. You're not in the playoffs. You're not getting an elite prospect. You're getting maybe someone who fell. It's just the worst place to possibly be because you're like, well, we're good, but we weren't great, and maybe your coaches were It's just the worst. It's purgatory. It's the worst place to possibly be. But you do got your Cowboys on Monday night this next week against the Bengals.
Yeah, I know, and the Bengals are trash, bro. So they're not gonna do any help. They still might put up 45 points. I don't know if Cooper Rush can keep up with them points wise, but their defense is the worst. And Gators, said, can Lamb get back on track? I believe if any game he gonna get back on track, it's against the Bengals, bro. That backfield is horrible. If CD gets 12 targets minimum, he's gonna have over 100 yards, bro. So
he should catch 4 of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Set the over-under for this game. Set the over-under for Cowboys Bengals Monday night. What do you think that total is?
That's a good question. Since the Cowboys, we're not doing good, so I don't know, man, because the Bengals putting up 38 points a game, 35 points a game. So the over gotta be 50. I'm gonna give it 52.5.
See if I can pull it up here.
I'm gonna give it 52.5 on the over.
So we got Bengals favored by 5.5 going into Dallas. And the total is, show it to me, 49.5.
Okay, 49. I mean, that's not bad either, though. That's 21-28, something like that. You know what I'm saying? But I just believe Cooper Rush is shown that he's capable of running this offense, and he clearly did that against the Giants. So the Bengals defense it may be worse than the Giants on paper, to be real. So I could see a good shootout type of game for nothing, but ultimately the Bengals should win this game. And we talking talent for talent, Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, like, they should win this game. Now, what's left, I don't know, but enough of these bums, man. Let's just move on to the next one. What up, Theo? Dolphins and the Packers. Ain't much really to talk about on my end other than the Dolphins just can't win whenever the meter doesn't say 75 degrees. I have no clue why. McDaniels just looks like a lost kid. Like we had so much hopes for McDaniels. He looks so cool. He's so calm. He seemed like that nerd kid that kind of got cool in a sense. And he seems like he's an ultimate player's coach. He probably kick it. And I always preach that player's coach thing. But it's a difference between, I always say, being a leader and being a companion, almost like a peer. Like he feels like their peer. He doesn't feel like their leader. You know what I'm saying? Like he feels like they're on the same level in a sense. And maybe it's age, maybe it's the lack of experience at head coach. I'm not sure what it is, but man, they just look so lackadaisical every week. Like they just walking around, whatever happens, happens. I don't see no fight. I don't see no drive to make me believe that this offense that's the fastest in the league could bust a 90-yard play 8 times in a row. I don't feel like they can win any game any week now at this point. Like they can go against the Raiders right now, and I wouldn't even tell you smash the W, because that's just the feeling they're giving me with this team, man. So I don't know what to say much about the Dolphins, but your Packers won. Wasn't the best, cleanest win, but they won. They seem to keep scraping the bottom of that pot, bro. They winning these games, but they're scraping at the bottom and getting the leftovers on these W's. So go ahead, let us know about your Packers, and if you want to talk about Ray Finkel and them, go ahead too, man.
Man, these Packers, the thing is, they're just finding ways to win football games, and I've obviously chilled a little bit on I still think the roster pound for pound is up there. I'm not sure it's quite number one, like I've said many times.
Yeah,
Lions have proved their weight in gold, just on that offensive line, and the way they've been able to turnstile players on the defensive line as well. But the Packers are just finding ways to win, finding ways to score 30 points, running the ball 30 times with Josh Jacobs, or throwing the ball to their leading player, like in this game, Tucker Kraft. It's like, well, we haven't seen Tucker Kraft much the last month and a half really have a big game, and this is the game that he decides to pop out. It's impressive that it's on a kind of week-by-week thing where they can win different ways on offense and defense. We get them in prime time 3 straight weeks the next month, 3 straight night games the next month. We got the Lions, at the Seahawks, home against the Saints. Big games. I'm not sure if is that Monday night, Sunday night, and Thursday night? Let me double check here.
Well, the Lions is this Thursday, so that I know for sure.
So that's Thursday, yeah, because they both played last Thursday. That's the Thursday deal. And then next week it's Sunday night at Seattle, and then a week 16 it's Monday night. So it's Thursday, Sunday, Monday for the Packers, all in prime time. 2 road, then 1 home. I mean, we're going to get to see them in these standalone games, and these are probably my favorite to kind of evaluate. Just get to sit back and just get to focus directly on this one. Because generally weekends your focus is all over, and I think this is a
red zoning on Sundays pretty much.
Yeah, the Packers can make some hay here over the course of the next 3 weeks with 2 teams that are in the NFC race. Obviously, the Lions in the same division, Seahawks in the wild card conversation / NFC West, and the Saints just a bipolar football team before they play the Vikings in Minnesota. The Packers could come out of this as the fringe wild card team, which is obviously a spot behind Minnesota if Minnesota continues, or if they beat Detroit here and they go on a little run and they finish up the season hot against the Vikings and Bears, they could win this division. Both things are on the table. I lean more towards the wild card side of things, but I have been moderately impressed with Green Bay to this point. Now on the other side, Miami, just to clarify, Miami, I am 100% in line with you. This team has proven time after time after time they cannot win outside. So
crazy, man.
As soon as anything opens up for that December 29th game in Cleveland, the night game in Cleveland, December 29th, you already know. I mean, take Jamo, take Jameis and the Browns against Miami. I mean, this team is. I think we're all understanding that this team is talented enough to make the playoffs, probably win a game in the playoffs. But the problem is when you're, I don't know if this was right or wrong, but I saw a tweet today. This might have been a Fugazi tweet, but I saw a tweet that came out that basically said that the internal locker room of the Miami Dolphins basically said that the team acknowledges that they're soft, and some people think it starts with the coach and all this stuff. I'm not sure if that was true, if that was Fugazi, but damn it sounds true.
Yeah, damn it looks true. It looks true. It's funny you say that about that tweet, because I was literally going to say, when you talk about like how you think Bill Belichick is a perfect coach for like the Cowboys, I believe scheme wise they still need an OC that can draw up these hot plays, but they need a Bill Belichick in this locker room to just break everything up. Like, you know, it's just it seems like these dudes is on my South Beach and they just like, look, man, I'm only here till I clock out and I'm back on the beach, man. I ain't tripping about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they need some tough coaching over there, real bad.
Maybe like a Brian Flores, was that?
I don't know. Don't think Tua like him, man. And see, that's another thing though, right? I believe Tua might not react good with hard coaching. I believe he needed McDaniels to kind of lower it down. I think Flores was too tough for him, man. Tua got toughened up too, man. He don't seem like he plays good under pressure of like a Bill Parcells, like a coach that's like getting on him and jumping on his back, telling him, you know. So that could be something that they might got to deal with. They signed him already, so they can't move on from him. But
well, look what's happening.
I don't know, man. I don't know. They need some. What?
You suck. You suck when you have hard coaching.
Nah, that's facts. That's facts. You right, but they already paid him now.
Congratulations. You're 5 wins this year. Patriots, Jags, Rams, and Raiders. Congratulations.
And they barely won that Patriots game. Jacoby Brissett actually threw the touchdown, and it was a toe tap touchdown that they didn't get. So they barely beat the Patriots, if we being technical. Chiefs almost lost to the Raiders, man. Listen.
Again,
I say this every week. The Chiefs won't blow a team out, but they will find a way to win the game. This was more on the Raiders than the Chiefs, to be honest. But the Chiefs just got that magic, man. They got the rabbit foot. They got Taylor Swift. They got somebody in the building that's sending prayers up, and they getting dropped down. So, but I will say this though before we move on from that. Aiden O'Connell, man. Aiden O'Connell looked real competent as a quarterback, man. I know he lost his job, then he broke his finger. But, man, to come up against this Chiefs team and go out there striking the way he did, like I said, for them to lose this game, man, I know that was heartbreaking, man. In that locker room, I would have been sick to my stomach. But to go out there and throw 23 for 35, 340, and 2 touchdowns against a defense that's literally shutting everybody down. And, of course, you know we got to Brock Bowers, man. Hey, that rookie of the year, man, I know they give it to quarterbacks, and I know this and that, but Brock is solidifying himself on his own. He needs his own award. I don't know what they gonna call it, but he needs his own, man. Shout out to Brock Bowers. Anything you want to speak on about this game other than, like I said, I just want to speak on O'Connell. We can move on. I know we ain't gonna talk on every game, but I'm not gonna talk long on this game either. But I did want to bring up the Jaguars and the Texans. The Jaguars, you know, dealing with what they dealing with, and for Trevor Lawrence to take that hit. I'm sure everybody saw it. I don't have a video, but I got this picture right here. And, of course, as you know, he was suspended 3 games today, just came out. Gosh. And if I'm Trevor Lawrence, I'm not playing the rest of the year. There's no point. My head hurt. I'm sitting down. I'm chilling. You know, let's just regroup, man. It's Mac. And honestly, Mac Jones came in there and looked better. And towards the end of the game, and Mac was out there dialing them up. I'm not saying he's good, but Trevor he didn't look good coming into the game. He didn't look good when he left out. So just sit down, Trev. Let's just finish it out. But for the Texans, man, they're not capital. The Texans right now look like the AFC Green Bay Packers, except they still aren't winning as many games. But if you look at bottom of the bowl winning game, like they winning games, bro, with literally no believability at all. Like, yeah, they won. Okay, then they win. Oh, okay, but let me see the game tape. Man, I fell asleep half them games they was playing. So yeah, you got the W, but I ain't gonna say I wouldn't put Green Bay as bad as them how they look, but I will say they look pretty incompetent to beat any good teams in a playoff run whatsoever. So I got them as a playoff eliminator round one, no matter who they play at this point. Joe Mixon has to have 100 yards and a touchdown for this team to even look compatible. So anything about either one of these teams, bro, before we move?
Frauds. Houston, frauds.
They
That's what they are. They're in the fraud tier right now. We got our hurdle rating up on Tuesday nights on the hurdle on the South Harmon YouTube channel as well. And Houston's been down there in that fraud tier with the Commanders and the Falcons the last couple of weeks. And that's, Houston's slowly came down, unfortunately. And the offensive line is not done. CJ Stroud any help. They got the running game with Mixon. I would love to see a game where Collins and Dell can kind of get this work in together. I'm not sure we're going to get it. They got a bye this week, and then they finish out on a hot. I mean, they got a pretty tough schedule. Dolphins, we just talked about. The Dolphins are the Dolphins, but this game is going to be indoors in Houston. Dolphins are going to show up and play football. Jonnu Smith, Tyreek Hill, they're all going to probably be healthy coming out of that bye. Kansas City, Baltimore, Tennessee. Tennessee, they just lost to at home. They got to go to Tennessee. So tough schedule to finish it out. You could easily see Houston drop a couple of these and be on the fringe of the playoffs. You could also see them, I would love to see them bounce back and be the Houston Texans that we saw, last year and early part of the season for the stretch, because they can beat this Kansas City team. They can beat this Baltimore team the way both of these teams are playing right now. Kansas City not dominating anybody, and Baltimore seemingly tripping up on their own feet the last month of games. Pittsburgh Chargers and Eagles, they beat the Chargers, but it was a tight game. I think Houston's okay, but I still think they're frauds.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man. But they're just in the division right now that you wouldn't be able to tell, because they're clearly most likely going to win this division unless the coach keep catching steam. So to move on from that, man, just Chargers and Falcons game wasn't much to talk about other than Kirk Cousins being absolute garbage, threw like 4 picks. Kyle Pitts leads with 0 catches. He's disrespecting my boy, man. I know nobody likes Pitts with me, but man, can we get Pitts to a team that's going to give him the ball, bro? There's no reason why I see backup Brock Wright out here catching touchdowns. Johnny Munt. I mean, it's tight ends out here, bro, that are scoring rapidly, and Kyle Pitts can't get 1 catch. This Falcons team, man, I believe, like I said from the beginning of the season, I think when they hired Raheem Morris, they just want to be better than last year. I don't think that they thought that this is a championship formula. Kirk Cousins, to me, we know what Kirk is. You know what I'm saying? My biggest problem is for Michael Penix. I think Michael Penix really, really needs an OC that's going to take his talents to the next level. And I don't think Atlanta's going to let him open up the field the way that he should. And I think they're going to slow walk him. I think that's why they don't want him in the game. I think they want to let Kirk do his thing, because Raheem Morris reminds me of an old school, we're going to go with the vet no matter what type of coach. And the way Kirk is looking, I believe they tied with the Bucs, and they play the Bucs again later on this season. And Baker Mayfield, win, lose, or draw, Baker's balling every week, no matter who his receiving core is. So this Atlanta Falcons team, man, with all the talent they have, is just wasting time and wasting talent. And they need to go hit up Magic City and get them wings with Lou Wills, man. That's what they think they need to do, man. Let's say Kirk to Magic City, though, Cody. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't looking good for the Dirty Birds, man.
I'm done with Kirk, man. You can get Kirk out of here. Kick him to the curb, be done with it. I was done when he left Minnesota. He's a middle of line quarterback that everyone wants to prop up as, remember the videos they used to do, what the hell were they called, with Joe Flacco, when they would, they wouldn't give him his elite card. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
I'm elite. I promise I'm elite. And they try to give him like, no, man, you're not elite. Get out of here. You're not welcome to the club. Like, that's Kirk Cousins. Like, you're not elite. Kirk. You're not welcome to the club. You're the Joe Flacco of this generation, and you're not even as good as Joe Flacco. Flacco obviously went to the Super Bowl, and you're not even him. Yeah, you're not him. You like that? You like that, Kirk? Because you're not. So it is what it is. I mean, this guy has made a career out of big paydays, guaranteed money, and underperforming in the end. And this Atlanta team, like you said, they're gonna improve. They're 6-6. Last year they were 7-10. If they win 2 more games, they'll be like, we're competing for the NFC South championship. Yeah, Tampa a game better than us. Well, no. I mean, Tampa lost their, arguably their best receiver. Mike Evans is great, but Godwin's like the glue of the offense. They lost him.
Yeah.
They really have a weird running game right now with a multitude of dudes that aren't really as good as your running game.
Yeah.
And they've drafted well, and you haven't on the defensive side of the football. And they've peed down their leg. And the Falcons, this thing was laid up pretty much for the Falcons. They could have
easily won this game, bro.
Run the season though. I'm saying like this season was laid up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Coming into the season, 100%. I mean, if you look at this roster, we all won Drake London. We look at what Darnell Mooney is doing. We never saw that coming. So the fact that they broke open Darnell Mooney and now they have London, Mooney, you still got Kyle Pitts who you don't throw the ball to. You got Bijan Robinson. When you look at this offense, bro, you give now. I'm not even stamping him right now, but a competent Aaron Rodgers with this offense.
God dang.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know Aaron Rodgers is stinky right now, but I'm just saying Kirk was never earned at his point, So Kirk right now was just, he's shitting the bed, man. And I think even if Penix comes in, which I don't believe, I believe 2023 or 2024 is Kirk's year.
Yeah,
these coaches are old school, old minded. They'll never go trust a rookie. I still believe coming into the season next year, Kirk is the guy. He's going to have to play his way out of that job probably week 6, week 7, where the fans and the media kind of just say, hey, man, it's over with. But I believe Kirk, man, is their quarterback this year and going into next year. No matter what the fans want, these coaches are not going to give us what we want, man. So, Kirk, man, he's done. He's done. I hope he got his chains tucked inside his shirt, man, because Debo is coming to snatch him off, man. He's gone. Speaking of, I did want to say one thing about the Texans, though, bro. Do you think that they are missing that first round pick they gave away to the Minnesota Vikings? Like, you think they could have got something at that point of the draft and maybe help bolster this team? I can't remember what was around that time. I just kind of threw this at you, so this is random as hell. But I thought about that yesterday, this early this morning. And, they traded out of the first round and got the second from Minnesota. And I know Minnesota ended up getting the DN from Alabama.
Dallas Turner.
Yeah, they got Turner. So, I mean, Minnesota cleaned up, man, to get what they got in the draft, to get the quarterback, and they still got Dallas Turner. Do you think the Texans should have maybe kept their first pick?
I mean,
it's easy to say now, but I'm just saying, at the time.
I think generally when you're in a spot to compete today, like obviously Houston is.
Yeah.
I think you keep that pick in your pocket and
that's what I was. Yeah.
I think you keep that pick in your pocket and you make it, and it's like, well, I think that this edge or this corner or this receiver could benefit this team today, rather than being like, well, probably going to win our division, but let's just kick that pick down the road. Like I'm all about collecting assets, getting more picks in future.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Not when you found the quarterback and he's in year
rookie
2
contract. Yep.
Rookie contract, year 2. I just went out, got Stephon Diggs. I just went out, paid for Danielle Hunter. I just went out and did all these things. And then to say, yeah, trade that pick. I mean, we're getting good assets back. No, that's a little aggressive for me. For me, it would be like, well, I'm going to keep this pick, and I might be aggressive in this current draft and see that, our center is going to be a free agent next year. Hypothetically, our center is going to be a free agent next year, or our right tackle is going to be gone, and we need to get somebody that we can kick the can on that. I want to put Troy Fautanu on our team today, so that if week 14 comes around, somebody blows out a leg or something happens, or then this guy can get plugged in here. Or worst case or best case scenario, I guess, in your mindset is, well, I love this offensive lineman and he's going to be on the roster. And so then when this dude does leave in the offseason, we already have this first round pick that's going to come in. Then that's essentially you already kicked the can down the road on that pick. Well, I took the guy that I liked in this draft, but obviously they didn't like anybody in the draft at that point.
Yeah. And honestly, Minnesota did what the Texans should have did, because they traded up, but they didn't even give both. Because remember, we thought we was going to give up 2 first to move up more and get a quarterback. They still got their quarterback, and they end up getting one of the best D linemen in the draft. So Minnesota kind of fleeced that trade, if you ask me.
100%.
Currently, yeah. Commanders and Titans, not much to speak on other than I will say Brian Robinson, man, he tore that defense up, and that was one of the I think top 4 defenses as far as rushing goes in the league. Once he broke that 40-yard run, which I believe they said was his highest run ever, longest run ever, he took off, man. So I still say this team is capitalizing on bad matchup or bad good scheduling, should I say, bad teams, losing teams, but they capitalizing on them. If you can put up 40 points on a bad team, hey, you can say what you want to say, but we won the game and we beat the team we supposed to beat. So the Commanders look, pretty good. I just don't know how they're going to compete against better teams on the schedule. So that's still to be seen. Any takes from this game other than, Terry McLaurin looked solid, and they had a field day more so. The Titans fumbled 2 kick returns or kick return. Yeah, Titans pretty much handed this game away in a sense.
Big bye week coming up. This is a must-win game for the Commanders, and to see them kind of start this game as hot as they did, I think they was up 21-rip in the first quarter. To start out as hot as they did, I think that was a big statement that they knew they needed to do against a Titans team that has hung around with the Vikings and the Texans that we just talked about the last month. Levis has played up the last couple of weeks. In this game, he threw I think it was 48% completion percentage. Not great. Nick Westbrook-Akina gets that work, but it just wasn't enough. This is a Commanders team that, like you said, they're taking advantage of the schedule. They rushed for 250, 240 yards, which is
no Eckler. That was even more wilder, right? Eckler was gone, and they still did it.
Two of the biggest plotter running backs you can see on tape, Robinson and Chris Rodriguez, both damn near go for a hundo. So Commanders look good. We'll see what they look like coming out of the bye. Good chance to finish with 10 wins this year. So they're frauds, but I still like them. They're still fun to watch, and I think they're still going the right direction.
Again, they frauds, but they got hope for next year. With knowing what we know with the team and the money that they have, and win, lose, or draw, they got the fight in them. So shout out to them for doing what they do. Steelers and the Bengals, though, bro. This was the shootout of all shootouts. Seemed like the Bengals every single week you can bet the over, and you can bet on top tier fantasy points from everybody in the game. So Russ went out there and pretty much solidified that he is the QB1 of this team and maybe the future. I don't know right now, Cody, knowing what we know, how Mike Tomlin moves and Arthur Smith not being the best play caller, I don't know if they go get a rookie or a free agent and change things up, man. I think Russ, the way Russ playing, bro, why you let him go? You know what I'm saying? You got him for a steal year for nothing anyway. You ain't paying him nothing this year. So you got him for free in a sense. Russ left Denver not looking so bad. They kind of just benched him because they were trying to tank from what it looked like last year. So Russ looked like he's here to stay, man. George Pickens, he's bringing the best out of Pickens. Calvin Austin, Najee Harris had, the big game. They clicking on all cylinders right now with Russ, man. And I believe that they found their quarterback, and knowing how Mike Tomlin plays ball, I don't see him just saying, all right, let's draft a rookie, So, and they might even be picking so late they can't even do that in a sense. So the Bengals are the Bengals. Of course, they have shootouts and they lose. But Chase Brown, man, he done stepped up. I still don't know why Zach Moss was even signed, why he was listed as the starter, why he started the season out. I have no clue. But Chase Brown, I'm glad it's shown, get him out of here. This is my job. I'm here to stay. And seemed like to me, though, man, fantasy-wise and MVP talk-wise, because I heard Joe Burrow's name get brought up in an MVP talk. But his stat lines are really coming from playing catch-up. I watched this script in Dallas for years, bro. We're down 25 points, and now Dak got to throw for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns to catch up. All that equals is stats and a loss. So that's really what Joe Burrow's doing. I'm not knocking him, but all his padded stats are coming from them losing games and having a terrible defense. So I want to see them in a close game and how he's really going to play. Not saying Joe Burrow's a bad quarterback, but these overinflated stats from Jamar Chase and Burrow are really coming from bad defensive play, because Pittsburgh Steelers giving up 38 points, bro. That doesn't happen. Rush should have never had the stats he had, but they're down by so much. You got to throw the ball a lot in Cincinnati. So what's your spills, man, on the Steelers and the Bengals and the highest scoring game of the week and maybe even the season? I don't know.
High scored in the game of the week was, I think, the completely unexpected thing to see.
Yeah, I thought this was gonna
But
be a field goal fest, bro. To be honest
but
with
it,
you.
it proves to you that the Steelers team can kind of play in every all different types of games. Like, this is a defense that, again, I didn't expect this, but when you do look at the talent on the other side with Burrow and Chase and Higgins, it's like you can understand how it can get a little bit out of pocket here. And Chase Brown's been playing great. Chase Brown, another game with 100 yards from scrimmage.
Yeah.
It's a good football team with a very bad defense. This is the Bengals. And sometimes when a game gets like this and gets a little out of pocket as far as time of possession goes, you can lose the defense on the one side for whatever reason. So Pittsburgh giving up points. I mean, they had given up only I won't say only, but only 24 up until in the fourth quarter, midway through the fourth quarter. So it wasn't completely out of pocket until they give those 2 late touchdowns. But I like Russ, man. I liked Russ back at training camp when he wasn't really doing a lot, but you could tell his poise. I went up there for one day and I could see his poise, just kind of maneuvering practice with and alongside Justin Fields. I was like, you can see the ball come off his hand. He's going through these, these touch 11-on-11 situations against the Buffalo Bills. You could tell that Russ was the answer over Justin Fields. And I'm glad it's come to fruition. They ripped him out there, and they got that one loss against Cleveland, in the snow globe is, you can write it off as a hoax, as whatever, as a fugazi. It was a real game. It was a real result, but
sure.
You can understand it. It can be one that's understood, not just they've won 6 or 7 games, and that was the one game they dropped. So I like that. You talk about Russ next year. Pittsburgh strikes me as a team that, Russ may want to go get some dough next year. And they might say, well, it's okay. You can go get some dough. And Tomlin will roll with, he'll keep Justin Fields on the roster, and he'll roll with Justin Fields if he doesn't, obtain a Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't obtain a Jameis Winston. He doesn't obtain a, you name it. Like, he strikes me as someone with a strong defense and competent offense with a running game and a great offensive line. He's willing to play with the quarterback position. I don't think he's going to go out here and draft one of these quarterbacks, especially in this class. In this class, he'll try it again next year. Maybe it fails, and guess what? If it fails next year, there's potential that this guy named Arch might be in that class next year. So we'll see what happens there. But I mean, Pittsburgh, this is without a doubt the coaching job of the year, in my opinion, is Mike Tomlin. Yeah. He should be the coach of the year, and it should be locked up.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I root for Dave Campbell so bad because he brought so much to that team, that city. I kind of want both of them to win, Cody. I ain't gonna lie. I want it to be a tie. It's like, how
about AFC, NFC? How about we get 2 trophies out of this thing?
That's what we need, man. Because I just feel like the Lions been through so much, bro. I mean, even if you look at the times that they said Dallas robbed them when Romo was playing with Stafford, and they had that pass interference that they never called. And then when Dallas beat them, 2 years ago, and I forgot, I think it was St. Brown. Some call they didn't make in the playoffs, but it was, or to get them to the playoffs. But it was 2 games that Dallas even stole from them that the refs didn't call a certain call. So did they see what his team been through and where they coming from and where they are now? And knowing that a lot of people didn't even take Dan Campbell serious because his antics kind of when he came in. I just want to see them both win. But Mike Tomlin always been a dog. And to go back to your point with them waiting until next year to maybe get their quarterback, I was going to say, and even then, like, no matter what they do with quarterback, we know that he's never going to finish under 500, right, with his record. So at this point, it doesn't matter. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers would fit because Aaron Rodgers just seemed like it's his way or no way when he goes to teams, and I don't see that clicking with Tomlin personally. But yeah, I'm with you though. If Russ want to go get a bag, but Russ don't suit me as a guy that just want to chase money, man. I think Russ right now, man, he saw Pittsburgh, took a chance with him, and they stuck with him because they could have said, "Look, Russ, we rolling with Fields. We 4-2. We can't. You know what I'm saying?" They put Russ in with a team that was already 4-2 and told him, "You are a guy. Don't worry about the media. Don't worry about nothing." So I think Russ is more of a, I want to be where I'm loved over getting $50 million in free agency. So I think this is Russ home, man. If I had to bet on it, man, I'm gonna bet on Russ staying in Pittsburgh right now.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I think it fits. I mean, we seeing it now. So I mean, how can you deny it? If they go in and win a playoff game, bro, it's gonna be hard to let them walk out that door, man. So, shout out to the Steelers, man. The Bengals are still trash. We could rapid fire through these last couple of games. The Cardinals and the Vikings. Vikings scraped by another win. They look kind of janky throughout the game. Kyler on and off. Marv got us another touchdown. I think he's leading all rookies and receiving touchdowns. It wasn't the best game on either side for either team, but somebody had to win and the Vikings won. So, shout out to them. The Rams and the Saints. The Rams kind of scraped by this game. Taysom Hill is gone for the rest of the year. Their number one player. The Saints are pretty much done at this point. Anything about the Cardinals and Vikings or the Rams and the Saints you want to talk about?
Cardinals Vikings kind of went how I expected it to. I kind of expected Arizona to win this game. I expected them to keep it tight. I think Arizona's a good football team. I think Minnesota's a touch overrated. So it wasn't completely surprised by it. Is what it is. Don't really have a lot. Don't really have a big takeaway, I guess, from that one. The Rams and Saints, I think are closer matched than they seem, especially record wise. I guess the records are just like they were a game apart before this game started. But Saints, what a season, man! What a season! Just like beginning so hot, getting so cold, and then coming back the last couple weeks.
Fraud, man.
Oh, yeah,
Well, one thing about Derek Carr, I always dog Carr, I always clown him and say what I gotta say about him. But one thing I will say, Carr got heart, bro. He gonna play to the end of the whistle blow, even if it's bad. He can look terrible, but he's still going to go out there and do what he got to do. So never take his heart from him. I just don't think he's that good of a quarterback like they say he is. So, Bucks and Panthers.
Dog. If they would have came down, this is the thing. Like with Derek Carr, like your point is proven. Like if they wouldn't have, if they would have stopped Puka Nacua from scoring that last touchdown, if they would have went down and scored another touchdown, like this, if they would have won against the Rams, woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda, whatever. If they would have won, they would be a game out of first place in the NFC South.
Yeah, man.
I mean that out, and they still got some games in the division that they could win that could put them in the situation, right? They got, I think, just Tampa left, but they got some winnable games. Giants, Commanders, Raiders are winnable games. Packers on the road, maybe not, but you win.
They always gonna compete. They gonna compete, bro. You can't look at the Saints on your schedule and be like, win. You know what I'm saying? Because they gonna compete, man. They gonna compete no matter what. Alvin Kamara's still there. They still got big play guys that can just take off. And I believe losing Taysom Hill, who is for some reason still a part of their offense, that's gonna hurt them. But for us as fans, we're not mad at all. Shout out to him. But I'm over that dude. But man, the Saints are always gonna compete. Bucks and Panthers, I really don't have much to say other than, man, I love seeing Bryce Young back. Like Bryce, I don't even know if I can say back. He's here, right? Bryce putting up almost 300 yards, and they didn't win the game. And this is another thing where, like I say, as long as you compete, we can live with it. And Bryce right now is competing. He had 298 and a touchdown, no interceptions. Brought Adam Thielen back to life when Adam Thielen got robbed of a touchdown in the back of the end zone. Tommy Tremble had 77 yards. Chuba took an off day that day. But the Panthers are here, man. And I think now the talks of they need to grab a quarterback in the first round, that done kind of calmed down. And now you see he got benched. And I believe, look at Andy Richardson. He got benched. He looks better. Bryce Young got benched. He looks better. So now you actually showed them that you still, I guess, kind of trust you. We didn't get rid of you and say you're done for the rest of the year. You just needed to sit down and learn a little bit more. So now that Bryce has that learning, that motivation, and the team backing behind him, if you look at his roster, bro, it's one of the worst rosters, if not the worst roster on paper in the league. So I don't expect them to go out there and win games. But when you can compete like they competing, you just keep building on that, man. And they might not ever complete this success by the time Bryce's contract is up, but at least you tried and you started building those blocks up, man. And this loss that they got to the Bucks, unfortunately, they lost the game, but they won in spirit in the locker room and with the fans. So I like seeing what we got out of Bryce, man, and I hope we continue seeing it. I like seeing Bryce win, man.
Did you see the thing about Rod Wave? Rod Wave, the rapper, supposedly put in his story about a month ago, right after the Broncos lost. He just put on his story at Bryce Young, "Hey, bro, call me." And
Nah, I see that. I missed
people on
that.
Twitter are just going, "Yo, what advice did Rod Wave give Bryce Young after that
Whatever,
game?" Because
whatever
since
it
that
was,
Bronco game,
he was
they're
singing
2
it
and
to
2.
him.
And they got 2 field goal losses to the Chiefs and the Bronco and the Bucks,
Yeah,
and it's a
that's
whole
wild.
different thing right now in Carolina. Again, not 2 great wins, but they got 2 wins by a couple points. Everything's at least 1 score. When you
Yep.
start having all your games be 1 score wins, 1 score losses, you're in the right ballpark. And I think that, man, I think the biggest takeaway here from the entire week is just continuing to get to watch Bryce. Literally the entire week of football.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big Bryce believer in the NFL. I think he's undersized. I didn't think there was enough there. I thought Carolina was a dead place to go. And this mother trucker has fought through it. He has
Yeah.
fought through it.
Yeah,
And
man.
he's getting out to the backside of this thing. And, Eagles are tough this week. Cowboys are going to be a little bit. Cardinals, Bucks, Falcons, not that tough out the stretch. They can finish this thing on a high note, even if they only win, a game or 2 on the rest of the way. I think that they can fight, still get a top 6, 7 pick, and justify.
They just got to win the locker room. They just got to win the locker room. They don't have to win on the field, bro. They just got to win the locker room. They didn't have a locker room. It was lost. Deontay Johnson didn't want to be there, and now he's not even playing. He's not even playing right now in Baltimore. Like, he had 0 play snaps. So I don't know what the hell was going on there. But maybe since he left, think about it. Since he left, he looked like a better team. So maybe he was the cancer. Who knows?
Look,
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to put that on him, but I'm saying since he left, man, he looked like a better team. So
I'm just saying I like what I'm seeing, every part of it right now in Carolina. It feels like a little bit of a it feels like a little bit of like a Disney movie where the team is just like dog shit, and you're like, hey man, this team's gonna do it, the miracle, they're gonna do it. And it's like, because you watch them and it's like, man, this is just a ragtag bunch, and this coach doesn't feel like he's in the right spot, and this quarterback's a little undersized and he's hated on, and this team, there's no expectation, and they, close game, the one-handed catch by Adam Thielen, they go down there, hit him in the back of the end zone, you're like, holy shit, man, this is a football team. And then Baker does Baker things, boom, 30 seconds left, go down there, kick the field goal, go to overtime, bang, over. You're like, oh, man, it was like this close, man.
But they took the Bucks to overtime, bro. Like, 3 weeks ago, you would have thought the score would have been 26-3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but have you ever seen Friday Night Lights, the TV series?
Not the TV series. I seen the movie, not the TV series.
Okay, because I was gonna say, when you brought that up, it reminded me of when the coach got fired from West Dillon. Dillon was like this, like the biggest school and highest praised school in Texas. He went to that high school, took over the team, won a championship, and then they started trying to find ways to get him out because he was too good at his job, and the boosters was hating on him. So they ended up finding a loophole to get him out of his job, but they expanded to another school, which was East Dillon. And when he went to East Dillon, which Michael B. Jordan ended up being his quarterback, which is crazy. But he went to East Dillon. Literally, they didn't even have uniforms. It was a school that was in the ghetto. Yeah, it was in the ghetto. Nobody wanted to be there. No coaches. Nobody. They didn't even have a team. Yeah. And he built that team up and ended up winning championship at the end of that following season. So that's kind of what you made me think of when you brought that Disney movie thing up. Because this is East Dillon that we dealing with over here with Carolina. And it's funny because they was the East Dillon Panthers. That was the name of their team. So, perfect. Man, that's wild. That's wild. I just thought about that. That was a wild segue, bro. I ain't mean to bring it up. But
perfect segue.
Yeah, D Wall, he said running backs living longer than usual makes me more willing to buy aging running backs with high warp on contenders. To be honest, though, bro, if you look at this year, and I said this a couple weeks ago, if you go back to your draft, your startup drafts, look at the first 4 to 5 rounds. I guarantee you is maybe 5 running backs taken total in the first 5 rounds. If you go quarterbacks, you had maybe sprinkle in a Sam Laporta in there. But the receivers. Everybody wanted receivers, man. That was all we talked about, all we loved, all we looked forward to drafting this year. And now when you look back, peel that layer back a little bit, Marvin Harrison was not worth the draft pick. I'm just talking about redraft mostly, but Dynasty included. Marvin Harrison, no. Um, Even Devonta Smith in a sense, right? He been hurt on and off. AJ Brown hasn't been clicking the way we thought. I mean, when you look at Saquon Barkley, he was a steal in all drafts. Bucky Irvin, who probably went super late. I can go on a list of running backs, man, that have well been beyond their expectations and outplayed, what they were. Chuba Hubbard came in. I'm sure you got him late as you wanted to get him. Nobody wanted the Carolina Panther, bro. So, and I know you said aging running backs, but the running back position in general, bro, when you look at Warp and when you look at this stat lines, the running back position right here is here to stay, man. Other than unfortunately Christian McCaffrey suffering another injury, and we didn't bring that up, Cody. But before we move on, man, that Christian McCaffrey injury, man, how you feel about that? And Are the San Francisco 49ers done, bro? Are they done for 2024?
I don't want to comment too much on the injury. I feel like a dick because last week on the walkthrough with Maddie, I basically said, yo, like we were seeing the videos already of the snow in Buffalo, and I was like, man, a double Achilles tendonitis ain't going to do well in the snow in that cold weather. And as soon as I saw him go down, it looked like a popped calf. I was like, oh. I was like, instantly, like, I hate, like, it's always like, it's like we're talking about real things. Like, man's got double Achilles tendonitis, but then you're like, man, you theorize why not to play a guy, and then he goes out there and gets hurt, and it's like,
and then he playing in the snow, right? So that don't make the running even more.
Right about it. It's like and this is like, maybe it's just too real. It's like anybody that's got tendonitis, anybody that's got arthritis, anybody that got these things where you can feel it in your knees when it's going to rain. You can feel it in your back when it's going to snow. Your nose hurts because, you've broken your nose and it starts to get cold. Like, it's your body reacts different, especially when you start to age. Your body reacts different to weather. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, man, this dude's literally the most important things on his body right now is his feet, Achilles, calves, knees, and he's got an issue, and he's supposed to be running through snow. Like, I was like, and then he got hurt, and I just felt immediately bad. So, hope all well with Christian McCaffrey. Hope all goes well. Hope all recovers well. But yeah, San Francisco 49ers, you can write them off. They're done.
Yeah, they done. They overcooked, brother.
I know I shit.
I know I had skipped the Eagles and the Ravens, but since we on this, man, the Bills, right? Actually, we could segue all three of these teams together: the Bills, the Eagles, and the Ravens, right? The Eagles, I just speak on them. To me, Saquon Barkley is the heartbeat of this team. He is the numero uno of this offense. I believe if Saquon Barkley, let's just say they signed him on a 1-year deal, right? Say he went there, they didn't re-sign him. One, he'd be the hottest free agent in free agency. But two, Philadelphia would have to pay every single dollar to bring him back because to me, bro, when you look at this offense, a Kellen Moore offense at that is built around Saquon Barkley. They start off every game slow. Jalen Hurts look like he's just there just because he has to be there, but he doesn't have to overdo his job because Saquon Barkley, man, is just taking off and getting the rushing, the dirty yards, the big plays, the grinding the game. And I don't think this team can survive with any Saquon Barkley injury. Or maybe they can and they just haven't had to. But I just think if Saquon isn't healthy, the identity of this team has to be rebuilt. And right now, Saquon, to me, is the MVP of this team and possibly, like people saying, the MVP of the NFL. So the Ravens side of the ball, they trip over their own feet every damn year with this. They play how teams play them, but they go against teams that I'm not saying they should have beat the Eagles, but look more competitive, man. Justin Tucker missed more kicks, I read, in this game than he's ever missed in any game over the last 8 years. So I don't know if it's Justin Tucker. I don't know if Lamar Jackson missing Andrews on a couple of passes and Zay Flowers. It's like Lamar gets in his head, man. I think he gets so excited when he come into games. And even he said his mother cussed him out because she probably saw like, what are you doing? I see this play and you don't see it. Like, what the hell are you doing? So Eagles you ain't see that?
No.
Yeah, he said his mother cussed him out. He's like, man, my mother cussed me out, man. I had to. He's like, yeah, because she saw some plays. He said that in the press conference after the game. So he's like, man, I'm just so mad, man. Like I know what I should have did, man. My mother cussed me out just now about it. So yeah, man. Mom said, look, what the hell you doing, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? So Eagles and the Ravens, probably two of the best teams in the league. But right now, the Eagles got a stronghold on, I ain't gonna say the NFC because I think Detroit is right there with them, but to be top two at least, the Eagles have that for sure. So Eagles and the Ravens, you know, how you feel about both sides of the ball, and more so what you think about this Eagles team and how they, you know, where they going next.
I mean, this is a wagon. This is a Saquon Barkley wagon. I mean, Jalen Hurts didn't have to throw the football 20 times, and you're going to beat the Ravens.
Yeah,
I mean,
crazy.
Like
Devonta Smith didn't even play, and they didn't even like they missed him. Like, oh well, it's cool. We got Saquon.
Smith didn't even play. Goddard got hurt, and Hurts didn't throw the ball 20 times, and you won the game in Baltimore. Like that's a very, very impressive thing that may not seem big, but it's pretty damn big. And I think at this point, I'm still going to be riding with Saquon as the MVP. I'm glad you got Saquon on my side here. I'm riding Saquon as MVP right now. I mean, this is he's got to be the favorite, at least in the house, doing what he's doing with Philly and keeping them as hot as they are. They haven't lost since the bye. When they opened 2-2, 8-game win streak now. Granted, I'm going to read the names off. Not that impressive. Browns, Giants, Bengals, Jags, Cowboys, Commanders, Rams. But then they go into Baltimore and they get that big win. That's a very impressive win, even though Baltimore hasn't been Baltimore of last month.
Late. Yeah.
But it's still impressive. I think they're still on the right track. Like you said, they're competing right there basically with Detroit for the top seed in the NFC. Sure. And that's the one thing I don't think Detroit wants to do. I don't think Detroit wants to choke this thing away. If Detroit drops a game, you open up the door for Philadelphia to weasel their way into that one seed to where you have to go to Philly in the winter. You don't want that.
Remember, Detroit played like 14, 16 games in the dome this year. Like all their whole schedule was in a dome. So I don't think they want to wait till championship time to want to be in Philly. Like, nah, we
want no parts of going to Philly. You went to San Francisco last year and lost, obviously, in that tight game in the NFC Championship. You want that that thing. You don't want to be going to a worse climate in Philadelphia and let them control it with their fans. No. So Detroit's got to keep their dauber down. Philadelphia's got to keep on clawing though, because that'd be a massive thing. That would be massive if they could potentially climb their way into that number one seed. Baltimore, on the other hand, I think Baltimore's fine.
They're gonna have hiccups like this, bro. I just think they can still beat anybody they want. They just do dumb stuff like this, for no reason. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that they're going to be fine. They're in like a 3-way tie right now for the wild card spot they're in. And there's like a 2-game lead over like the next team and a 3-game lead over the next team. So they're pretty much going to be fine in the playoffs. I don't see them choking out and, winning one game the rest of the season. Knock on some wood there.
For sure.
I'm not sure they can catch up to Pitt. I don't know. Pitt looks really good right now. Pitt looks like a model of consistency with Mike Tomlin. I'm not sure if Baltimore can catch up to Pitt.
But they play each other again.
This ain't something that Baltimore's not used to. I mean, they've played they've been the 6th seed a number of times when they've jumped into the playoffs before with Flacco and Ray Lewis and Ed Reed and all these guys. So Baltimore can win from anywhere. Baltimore can win on that. I mean, honestly, on the road, Baltimore is a little more scary, in my opinion, than they are at home.
Yeah, they are. They did a little too loose, and they just like, we at the crib, man. We ate too much before we left the house or whatever the case. They just get too comfortable at home. But to kind of segue from it, because I know I had last week when I did the show kind of by myself, I looked up on DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, and I saw that Josh Allen was the number one favorite for MVP. And I was like, damn, Josh Allen? So I went down and I looked at Saquon was 2, Lamar was 3, Jared Goff was pretty much 4 on most. What's your name? So to go into the next, I will say I will drop Lamar down. I've stuck with Lamar over Saquon last week, and after seeing this game, I will put Saquon over him. But how you feeling about Josh Allen versus Saquon right now? After that game, and in the snow, he had a receiving touchdown, rushing touchdown, passing touchdown. I mean, hey man, he don't have one yet, and they love giving them to them quarterbacks. But I'm gonna say this, Cody, before you say what you say. Did you know that the Eagles never had an MVP in their history?
Damn, really?
Go look it up. I heard it this morning. I didn't know that. I was listening to some stuff. The Eagles have never had an MVP in the history of their franchise.
I guess Randall McDaniel would have never. Randall Cunningham would have never won one. McNabb would have never beat out
Peyton Manning and all them.
Yeah,
the Eagles, man, they never won. Somebody can stat check me if they want, but
interesting.
What up, Jake? What up, Big Jake?
That's an interesting. That's an interesting stat. That's facts. That's interesting.
I was doing some homework this morning. I said I got to keep up with my boy, man. So I said, pull that rabbit out the hat, man. I ain't know if you knew that one.
I was trying to think back. I was like, man, how back can you go? But it kind of makes sense. So when you think back, you're like, well, I guess there was never a. And the one that potentially could have was McNabb, I think, and then he obviously was competing with some others. I mean, I think Josh Allen's going to be a tough one not to give it to if they continue to kick ass like they are.
Yeah.
So,
they're the only teams to beat the Chiefs, so you know that's going to weigh heavy with the voters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's such a weird freaking team, man. I don't like them. But they just win games.
That's more reason to give it to Josh Allen, because when you look at the team, what do you like about it?
Nothing. I mean, the James Cook looks good. Ray Davis a good 1-2 punch. The receiving core is just a mishmash of trash, and Josh Allen just continues to win these football games. So I guess.
I mean, they got rid of the whole defense.
Minus 280 right now for Josh Allen, plus 500 for Barkley. Yeah, I guess the quarterback's always going to get the lean, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, I'm with you on Saquon, bro. I just think the circumstances around him, having Hurts, one of the good O-lines, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, then you go to the defense. They got a top 4 or 5 defense in the league. I think that's going to hurt them versus Josh Allen, where we don't even like nothing around him, and he's doing it, week to week to week. So I think that's what's the biggest strike against Saquon right now. It's the assets around the team. And that Josh is the quarterback.
Yeah, I buy that.
So
I think Saquon's been doing. No, I can't even say that. I was gonna say I think he's been doing near equal important output. Like on a weekly game when he touches the football, it's like he has to have positive yards. He has to be the one that gets into the end zone. He has to be the one that makes the big play. He has to make the thing. But Josh Allen just makes quietly more plays per game, even.
Yeah. I say this. If Saquon got to go get that rushing record, bro. He got to get it.
Must.
If he do that, then it's kind of hard to not give it to him, bro. Like, you can't, that record's been held up for a long time. If he get that record, man, we gotta kind of say, all right, you got this one,
Must.
So,
it's a must. It's a must that you hit that.
You
hit the rushing record.
Yeah. So, all right, man. Well, that's the spills on that one, man. I'm gonna go with Josh only because he's a quarterback, and I think the circumstances are different. But I ain't knocking you if you think it's Saquon. To close out on this, because we don't went too long on all these damn games. The Broncos and the Browns. My boy Jameis threw 2 pick sixes, man. But Jerry Jeudy broke out. He went against his old team. Took off last night. Bo Nix, man. Bo Nix, man. And it's always been J-Day versus Bo Nix. And man, I thought J-Day had a clear run to the MVP, or Rookie of the Year. But man, it seemed like Bo Nix like, we ain't having that, bro. And put up 41 points. I mean, you went against the Browns, but it was Monday night. The Browns looked like they were going to compete in this game and really keep up with them. Bo looked like he knows, man. Bo knows right now. He's with the doctor. Sean Payton is his guy. I believe he's with the perfect team. I don't know how many other coaches would have got him where he needs to be. And shout out to Bo, man, right now. But the Broncos and the Browns before we close out on this one, Cody.
Jerry Jeudy, I saw this one a couple hours ago. Jerry Jeudy set the NFL record for most receiving yards against a former team with 235, breaking the record of Terrell Owens against the Niners with 213.
Who was T.O. playing with? Cowboys?
Probably in 08 would that have been the Cowboys, right?
Yeah, that was Romo's time. Yep. Had to have been the Cowboys.
That was right. That was the year that they was it the year after?
Well, we know it's the Eagles or the Cowboys, but I want to say it was the
05
Cowboys.
05 he was an Eagle. I think he was a Cowboy at that point.
Yeah, he was a Cowboy then. Yeah, because matter of fact, I was out of school. Yeah, he was a Cowboys. Yep. But Jerry Jeudy went off last night, man. He took off.
King shit.
I mean,
it was weird because
I
was gonna say only 2 receptions for like 20 yards was against Pat Surtain. So they were moving him around, getting him on Levi Wallace and stuff. And
I was gonna say a lot of it was big plays though, but he got it. He showed his speed. He showed what we know he could be coming out of that draft, and he showed it yesterday. I don't know if it was because he wanted revenge. He wanted to show the Broncos this what I could have did with y'all, but he need to keep that fire next week. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, no Amari Cooper, bro. You could be the number 1 on this team. It's time to act like it. So yesterday showed that.
Listen to this one. Jerry Jeudy's 546 receiving yards since Jameis became the starting quarterback. Since Jameis became the Browns starter in week 8, Jerry Jeudy is 546 receiving yards. That's 14% of Jerry Jeudy's career receiving yards.
That's what I'm saying, man.
14% of his career yards have come in the last 6 weeks.
He eating right now. I guarantee you, he banging on the wall saying, "Hey, man, he the quarterback. After all that, keep him right now this year. Y'all figure it out next year. I need Jameis right now, man."
Tillman was playing good. Elijah Moore's getting targeted. And Njoku looks good. If they can keep this thing cooking and they can get if they can get Jameis back, I don't know. But Jameis is such a weird. I love Jameis, but I'm not sure how franchises view him from a hey, let's ride with him. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm gonna say this though, Cody, and I know, they in a league where we pass the ball a lot, and that's Jameis's thing. But I feel like as a coach, I think their old line being so bad is what's hurting Jameis. He shouldn't be throwing for 50 times in a game, bro. They need a balanced offense. We're gonna let you throw, but if they had Nick Chubb and Jerome Ford running the ball like we know they can run, and the old line being what it was supposed to be, I believe Jameis, they can disguise the interceptions and hide Jameis, because I don't think that's what Tampa never did. Tampa never slowed the offense down, which why Brady wanted to go there, because he saw, look, man, they throwing the ball 50 times a game. I'm gonna light this up. You got to disguise your quarterback when you know that he's maybe turnover prone with the running game, and they got the running game. They just don't have the O-line for it. So I believe Jameis is fine. They just got to learn how to disguise his flaws and help balance the offense out.
Agreed.
So I brought these two up, man, before we close out. J-Day, Bo. It's getting tight. It's getting close, man. Rookie of the year. Who you got, Cody?
I'm getting there.
You're getting on that Bo train, huh?
Getting there.
Right.
I think Brock Bowers needs to have.
I ain't had time to edit it, but I was gonna put him in the middle, bro. Brock, man, he was supposed to go up here.
I'd like to pull up these odds if they pop up on me.
You gotta get Bowers his flowers, man.
Bowers needs them flowers, man. The guy's he's gonna have a rack after this week.
Crazy.
Jaden Daniels still your offensive rookie of the year favorite, minus 270 at FanDuel. Bo Nix plus 240, Bowers plus 1200. We got a new guy in 4th. Bucky Irving plus 5,000 in 4th place.
I mean, Bucky had a hell of a game yesterday. Yeah, like 150 though, bro. He went off yesterday.
I didn't see that number. I didn't see him popping up in there, but
nah, I ain't see that either.
I think it's really a 2-horse race, Jaden and Bo. And I think what Bo's doing right now, his current trajectory, I might need to take a drive up to North Carolina this weekend, because you're still getting sick value on Bo, and I like it. I like where we're at with Bo Nix. I think he's doing enough. You win games in prime time. Jaden Daniels, I'm not sure they can squeak to 10 wins. We'll see. But Bo Nix, it's very impressive. Very impressive to see him orchestrate this offense, move it along. The throw that he had last night is a simple bubble screen to Troy Franklin down there like the 15, and Franklin took it down to the 2. He put that football on his tight ends. You remember this play, right? The tight end blocked this corner, and Franklin kind of came back around like this. And imagine this is the back of the tight end. That football like skimmed the back of that tight end, and Franklin's hands are right here. And it was a turn and whip, and it was so perfect.
I'm just glad Franklin caught it, man, because Franklin got dropped.
Well, I didn't think he was. That's what I'm saying. He threw it. I was like, oh, and he caught it, and then he created after the catch and stuff. But
that should have been a touchdown too, man. He kind of lacked on that scoring on that one, bro. But that was a hell of a play.
Putting your guys in places to succeed, and doing it efficiently. He's at a uphill climb, uphill battle to get back into this Jaden Daniels conversation. But man, I think Bo's doing the right thing, and I think you get a couple more weeks of this towards Christmas, and Denver can really make this a thing. I think they're probably going to make the playoffs at the current rate. I think Bo's going to win this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I say this. Jaden, to me, is doing what he was expected to do, being drafted so high. And Bo fell down the draft. A lot of teams didn't want him. Most of the fans didn't think he was even good coming out of the Senior Bowl, right? It was Bo can't throw. That was the biggest thing. Bo can't throw. He can't even throw but screens, and he wasn't even hitting screens at the Senior Bowl. So for Bo to be where he is now, so early, so fast in the season, I'm not taking nothing away from J-Day at all as far as my rankings go with his MVP value. But, man, Bo is on his heels, man. Bo is on them heels, bro. So, shout out to the rookies, though, man. I'm loving what I'm saying. Hopefully, Caleb one day can be back in this conversation. He's not there yet. So, we're going to move on a quick segment, man. We ain't get but 3 insertions this week, man. So, we're going to bring them up, and we're going to touch on this Heisman talk right quick. And we're going to let them people have a good day, though, Cody. So, let's see what we got. Man. Hold on one time. Who we got? All right, man. Stay consistent. Man, my boy is number 2 in the league. He cooking. Clearly, he must only show up because he winning every week. So I appreciate you, though, drinking bleach, man. That bleach ain't got to you yet. I'm glad my boy is still here to tell his story, man. So shout out to Drinking Bleach. Think he got one more too. Yep, Drinking Bleach back again, man. This a real one right here though. Sheesh, what's that? What we at? 130 something, about 130 plus, almost 130. And last but not least, Cody, I just figured why not? I bring mine up since there wasn't many, and your boy got a good dub this week. So I say, I got Jameis in the building, man. He did his thing. Big Black Scooby. I'm sorry, man, but I had to do what I had to do, man. Go get some Scooby snacks and do your thing, Playboy. You know what I'm saying? We put that belt on him, man. Hey, Cody, I don't know if you saw it last week, but I put our game up because I put our game up because I beat you in it wasn't by much, but I beat you in the South Harmon league. So I said, man, man, I beat him. And he ain't here. Let me go ahead and post it. But yeah, coming into I guess the next final segment, man. We talked about the MVPs. We talked about the rookies of the year. Now let's talk about the 2 guys, man. Ashton Genty and Travis Hunter, bro. Unfortunately for fans around the world, Colorado played themselves out of the playoffs. We was waiting for that day and that time to see more of this team and more excitement. I'm pretty sure that the NCAA, man, they probably like, hey, man, can we squeeze them guys in somewhere? Because the ratings going to be off the chain if they could have made the playoffs. And unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, they lost and missed that opportunity. So I don't know, because I know you about to look it up now. I'm not sure how close the race is. On both sides, I felt like Ashton needed to break a major record to probably get it. I know Travis is playing both sides of the field, and he's talking that talk. I think sometime in this world, especially in the media, the quiet guys always finish last, man. And I think Ashton Genty probably just been a little too quiet, man. So people kind of forget who he is until Saturday when he show up. Travis, on the other hand, he got the media, he got the coach, and he talking that talk. He doing the Heisman pose. Like, I think people sleep on how much being seen and heard. Not saying the loudest person in the room is the weakest, because that's kind of like a saying, but Travis going out there saying that, hey, I'm the Heisman. Forget what y'all talking about. Ashton is more so playing his way into it, and it's not wrong with that, but I think you can get lost in the cracks when you got somebody as good as Travis and he talking that talk, almost like a T.O. versus a Marvin Harrison, right? Marvin Harrison was never a big talker, but he was a great guy. T.O. gonna talk his way in the room and make fans say, I might vote for T.O., even if he ain't the better guy at the time. So I say all that to say Travis, to me, is the Heisman, I believe, because he plays both sides of the ball. Two, he without him, well, I ain't gonna say that because Genty without him, Boise wouldn't be Boise either. But Travis is just bringing a different energy, man. He's more exciting and damn, I ain't kind of saying what I'm saying, Cody, because I feel like I'm down in Genty in the sense, but you kind of get what I'm saying with the flash and the glimmer and the glitz and the diamonds and pearls is on the Travis Hunter side, and you just love seeing a guy be what he is and doing what he's doing. So to me, I believe it's Travis Hunter. I'm sure you're gonna look it up and let us know what the real deal is. But what's your speak on this one right here, bro?
So every week over on my Orange Bloods column, I cover Texas. I do my Heisman watch list update, and I've updated it to put Travis into the number one spot in tier 1 by himself about 5 weeks ago. And Ashton Genty's in tier 2 by himself. There's nobody in tier 3. And then I got Cam Ward and Dylan Gabriel in tier 4. I don't think Gabriel deserves it. I don't think Cam Ward deserves it, but 4 guys have to go to New York. It should just be these 2 dudes. Hunter and Genty should be the only 2 that go to New York. And they should be sitting there, kumbaya, and they should have like a teammate side by side with them. Genty should get to bring Madsen as quarterback, and Hunter should probably get to bring, Shador or Dion or whoever he wants to bring. They should just get to bring like a coach or a player next to him.
Bring their mother.
Parent, anybody. It don't matter. It shouldn't be 2 other dudes shouldn't show up there. It should be these 2 dudes and these 2 dudes only. The problem I have, and this is not to degrade, the problem I have with Genty's resume is that they keep comparing it to Mark Ingram and to Derrick Henry. And here's the thing.
A different schedule, brother.
Yes. And his statistics are like miles ahead of Mark Ingram, miles ahead of Derrick Henry. He's in the Mountain West, and he's expected every single week to rush for 200 yards. He's expected. How many? This would be a good set to look up. How many weeks has there been like an expected rushing stat or a sportsbook total where they've given us and he hasn't hit it? It's happened. It's happened during the back end of the year that he hasn't hit these numbers. Not to say that should be part of the process, but
his expectations was kind of high though too, Cody. I remember one time he was like minus 190 on 3 touchdowns. I'm like, damn, bro. Like that was crazy.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Expectations were high. I will say that.
If it ain't nobody doing that in the SEC. No, like even Jahmyr Gibbs went from Georgia Tech to Bama, and everyone's like, man, this dude's gonna be sick. Like imagine Genty going from the Mountain West to the SEC. He would rush for 1,500 yards, don't get me wrong, but he would run it for 2,300, and the 2,300 is still 500 yards short of Barry Sanders. Yeah. Barry Sanders did that in 1 less game than what Genty did. So everyone's saying, they've been saying all year, well, he might break that record. He might do this. He might do that. He might still break the damn record. But I tell you what, it's going to take him 15 games to do it. He's going to have to do it in the Mountain West Championship, the first round of the playoffs. If he gets a second game, etc., like it's going to take him 15 games to get there. He's not going to do it in 11 like Barry Sanders did. Travis Hunter, 1 of 1. We ain't never seen nobody do what he's doing. Yes, there's been guys that have played both ways. You've had your Charles Woodson, you've had your Des Howard, you've had your Champ Bailey, you've had these dudes that have played both ways, but none of them have played like this both ways, to where this guy's got 94 touches, 1,157 total yards, 15 freaking touchdowns, and this team has done what this team has done. And again, Boise State's good. Boise State's been good, right? Genty's been good. Travis Hunter and what Colorado did, like it's kind of like the MVP, most valuable player, right? It's kind of like how important is this player to this team's success? Boise would still be good. I'm not convinced Colorado would win 6 games without Travis Hunter, because you don't have a guy on defense that got 11 pass breakups. He's got 4 picks. He made that forced fumble against, was it Baylor on the goal line, where he put his fist in there, popped that football on the goal. They should have lost.
Punch it out. Yeah.
Those are moments that you remember. Those are things that you remember. And I remember a lot of Genty stuff, but this isn't really close for me. And when you do look at the FanDuel odds right now, Travis Hunter minus 8,000, Genty plus 100. If you still believe it, go splash a ticket, but this is a lock.
And to be honest, though, what you just said is facts. What do you remember about what they did, right? And honestly, the biggest thing I remember about Genty is just the stat line.
Yep.
I can't remember a specific like boom play, like, oh my God, bro, he did this. And he might have one or two that if you bring it up, I probably can't remember. But I remember more about Genty is reading the stat line at the end of the game versus Travis Hunter. I remember certain plays where he caught the ball on the sideline on that corner with that one. Like I remember certain plays. Yeah, like I remember moments that he had. And unfortunately for Genty, he just haven't had those moments. He just had the stats to prove that he's good. And no downplay to Genty, but Travis Hunter, man, is a different breed. One. But I will say, man, shout out to Travis. Because remember, when he came, he was at Florida State. He's supposed to go to Florida State, man.
Yep.
And he left Florida State, went down to Jackson, down there with Dion, did his thing, came back up to Colorado. I'm pretty sure he didn't have to follow Prime nowhere. He could have went wherever he wanted to go. He down tiered out of D1 ball, man, and literally came back and is about to be the Heisman winner, bro. So this is a crazy ride he's been on. But I will say, shout out to Coach Prime, man, for really being who he is, because without him, we might not have seen what this Travis Hunter prospect could be. So I love the whole story, man. My boy got to get a 30 for 30, man, out of this one, man. So shout out to Travis Hunter, man. I believe he's the Heisman. You believe he's a Heisman. And like you said, there's no other two seats. They should just have two sitting there by this stage. And it is what have Reggie Bush come back and have a speech, since he ain't had one. He just got his trophy back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He just got his trophy back. Have Reggie Bush up there or something. Yeah, so, man, I guess, since we all for that, man, before we close up out of here, bro, we're going to go lead the people with a little bit of dynasty hope, man. Quarterback, running back, receiver. I did say we can do this. I see how you feel about this. I don't have the schedule in front of me, which I should have did. But I was going to say the strongest playoff kind of player. Who you trust more in the playoffs right now for our fantasy? Because we got one more week of regular season. But coming into week 15, 16, 17, who do you believe at quarterback that you can rely on that's going to take you to that championship, that almost like a QB2? We know the top ones, but QB2, who you think got a favorable schedule, better matchup, or just overall should get you to that next hump to win that championship in the playoffs?
Is Baker count?
Yeah, Baker counts.
Baker, I think, has got a very favorable schedule for the playoffs. He's got the Raiders this week, at the Chargers, at the Cowboys, and then home against the Panthers in the fantasy championship. I love that. I think it's juicy. Think they're going to be competing for this NFC South championship. They're going to be trying to win games. He's going to be throwing the ball 35 times a game. It gets a little rushing. Maybe get your rushing touchdown in one of those 4 games that could help you push over and win a game. But at the Raiders, Chargers, Cowboys, Panthers, it's going to be hard pressed at the quarterback position to get much better than that.
Damn, I ain't gonna lie. You kind of hit heavy with that one. That was a good one. I'm gonna say a guy. Let me see. No, it was the last 3 games. Okay. I'm gonna say a guy, Cody, that maybe everybody might not agree with, but I'm a bank on his style of play and what he's been doing. I'm gonna say Anthony Richardson, bro. I'm gonna say A-Rich. He got Denver week 1. That's gonna be a tough task, right? But if you can get through that, you're going against Tennessee and New York. Championship game, you had New York. Tennessee is gonna be tough. But I believe, looking at what A-Rich has done over the last 2 or 3 weeks since he's been back, he didn't have Josh Downs this week. He gets Josh Downs back, who's been his receiver 1 literally this whole year. And he still got his legs working, man. A-Rich coming in. I know coming into the season, he wasn't a quarterback 2, but right now he's pretty much been out of that top 12 conversation. He can be a top 14, 15 quarterback week to week, man, and get you through this playoff run. Even in the reason why I brought him up is because he doesn't have easy matchups, but I believe his legs alone can get you through the Denver defense and the Tennessee defense. So I'm a bang on A-Rich, man, just giving me 80 rushing yards and maybe 160 passing yards and a touchdown, man. So I'm a bang on A-Rich, man, to get me through the playoffs, bro. It ain't the sexiest schedule, but I just think running wise, he can get you through. So running back, bro. Who we got?
Running back, you know what? I kind of want to just go with it. I don't think this is the best schedule, but it may be a situation where it just may be a league winning type spot. Isaac Guerrero should be the highest bid
I like
player
that.
this week in Fab.
Late. Yeah.
Home against the Bears, home against the Rams, in South Beach, home against the Lions. So all good weather for Guerrero. Mason on IR. McCaffrey obviously bang back up. Good stretch here for Guerrero to get 15 to 18 plus touches per game.
I like that. And the guy I'm about to say, bro, is definitely not an RB1, but I trust that the team now probably still wants to win. They got a little bit of motivation, and the defense has gotten better. I spoke on it earlier. Rico Dowdle, man. I think Rico Dowdle for this playoff push. They got Carolina, Tampa Bay, and Philly in the championship. So that's going to be a tough one, but it is a division game. So it can go either or with how that game works. But at least to get to the championship, Carolina and the Bucks, Rico Dowdle, man, can get you an 80-yard game in both of those and maybe squeeze out a touchdown. So you're looking for 13 to 15 points out of your running back to help push you in that flex spot. I believe Rico Dowdle can do that, man, at running back. So I'm a bank on Rico, man, to hold us down for that RB2, 3-ish for the playoffs, bro. Shiva, man. What we got, Cody? Just close them out right, man.
Let's finish it out how we started the season. Malik Neighbors. Okay. New Orleans Saints, Baltimore Ravens, Atlanta Falcons, Indianapolis Colts. Give me some Malik Neighbors to finish the season out just like we started it. After the first 6 weeks, we were like, holy shit, this guy's going to break every record. A lot has happened between now and then, including a shit ton of losses on behalf of the Giants, quarterback change. Now with Drew Lock, I want to see this thing established. They do have some weather games. You know, they're going to have at home this week against the Saints, at home against the Ravens, at home against the Colts. You may be fighting weather up there in New York. I don't know, but you do have an indoor game against the Falcons in the semifinals. I like Malik Neighbors here to get 10-plus targets the rest of the way per game and potentially give us the stretch to finish like we got at the beginning.
Well, I'm going to go with a guy who literally just broke the record and has shown us that what I spoke on earlier should take that leap. I'm going to go Jerry Jeudy, bro. Jerry Jeudy right now, he goes up against Kansas City week 15. That can be a shootout game or it could be a slow-paced game, right? But if you could squeeze through Kansas City, you got Cincinnati week 16, Miami Dolphins week 17. And I believe Jameis Winston can light both of those defenses up on week 16 and 17. And Jerry Jeudy might possibly end as a top 13 receiver both those weeks. So if I'm banking on a late push and a guy who just had a 200-plus game, that may be clicking with his quarterback now, like you said, 500-plus yards since week 8. I'm going to bank on Jerry Jeudy, man, and get me there. So I might pull Jerry Jeudy out of the hat on this one, though, Cody. And I'm kind of glad I had this segment because I wasn't even thinking of Jerry Jeudy. But looking at his schedule, Cincinnati and Miami, bro, you can't go wrong with that as a receiver. So, Jerry Jeudy, baby. We digging deep in the burrow, man. We pulling them out. We cleaning the pot around here. You know what I'm saying, Cody? So, hopefully that helps some people out, man. Hopefully y'all win these leagues. We got one more week before the fantasy playoffs actually kick off next week. So, hey, man, hopefully you get your push, you get your run. Make sure y'all post those picks in the Overcook and this week in the Overcook, I'm gonna tag everybody. You could post your playoff wins. You don't even got to be an Overcook situation. It could just be a tight race where, you made it to that last seed, man. But we want to celebrate all fantasy playoff victories.
I want to see all of them.
That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about all of them.
0.0001. I want to see them
all of them because if you made it to the playoff, or if you knock somebody out of the playoff spot, I don't mind seeing them too. We're gonna celebrate knocking some people out of the mix. So, shout out to everybody, man, for tapping in with us, man. I got my boy back, man. I tried to hold it down by myself, man. What you think last week, Cody? Man, it was my first solo, man. I was wondering, man. You ain't tell me. Why you feeling, man?
I think you did great, brother. I mean, okay, you talked about I think I can hold this thing down, and I didn't. No, I don't ever want to leave you high and dry, but I just happened to have to drive across the damn country for whatever reason, I was like, man, you said you could do it. I want to see you do it, and you did it. I know you crushed it. You had a great week, and you did better than the Cowboys. I tell you that.
Hey, man, it's all good, bro. I'm just glad the people here. I'm glad I got you here with me, man, today. And man, before we get up out of here, again, we appreciate everybody tapping in with us, man. Make sure y'all tap. Y'all having the Hurdle tonight live, or is it?
Yes, sir. 8
okay.
p.m.
Heard of the Night Live, 8 p.m. Me and Mike got the new channel. Go subscribe to that, South Harmon Vibes, man. We just doing something different, trying to have a little bit of fun, adding some mix into the game. And check out everybody, man. We still got our podcast shows going on. I believe the Waiver Wire show should be released tonight. So, yeah, it was probably already released. I'm pretty sure the EV guy. So, yeah, man, just keeps tapping in. Stay, tuned in with us, man. And hopefully you got that Warp 2 50% off, man, because them playoffs is coming, baby. So, hey, you better stay tapped in with that, man. But before we close out, Cody, any more words, bro?
So we got, brother, big week. Fantasy playoffs approaching. Christmas just, 3 weeks away? Our birthday is a couple weeks away.
Christmas, man. Yes, our Christmas is coming up, right? So I'm the 16th, you the 17th. My daughter's the 21st. So that means I don't got but one day to celebrate. Mine doesn't matter no more. So
you got the birth week. That's what we got.
Yeah, in fact. Hey, look, my brother's is the 28th. So it's all like December's crazy for me, bro. So yeah, it's gonna be a wild month, man. But I'm glad you here. I noticed that your birthday is the actual day of the show. So you let me know how you want to do that one. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So mine is that Monday, unfortunately. Yours is the actual Tuesday. So we're gonna figure that one out, man. But hopefully, the people come through, man, show you a little bit of love, show me some love, like they always do, man. So before we get out of here, my boy already gave me one, and we're gonna close this thing out, baby. We out this thing.